Gotta file a missing cats report.
Okay.
We're back.
Hey yo.
Are you excited to be back?
Yeah, for sure.
Been a while.
You know, I gotta say, though, I feel like I play less video games than ever, which is okay. You know,
Oh yeah.
I got stuff to talk about. I just feel like as we've done this, I've progressively played less video games.
Yeah. I mean, you're preaching to the choir, man.
Yeah,
I feel like I used to play everything, and now I just know about everything instead.
yeah, right.
Like
Exactly.
I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that is. I want to play
Yeah.
it,
hmm
but I haven't. Um, you're listening to the Infinite Scale podcast. I'm your host, William Chandler. I'm joined, as always, by Chris Crossley. We're planning on doing a Game of the Year thing. Um, kind of like last year where we just talked about some games we played instead of focusing on games that came out this year. Because honestly, I mean, outside of some stuff that I haven't gotten to yet, not too many games came out this year that like really excited me to my core. To my the center of my being. I wasn't like feeling it.
Yeah, there's a lot of that this year for me too.
But I did play some games, and I think there's something we're both playing that we wanted to talk about a little bit. But first, how are you? What have you been up to? What's going on?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I swapped my schedule around, so I'm a morning man now.
How does
Wake up
that
at
feel?
6 a.m. It's great, and then I go to bed at like 10 or 11. And if anyone knows me, that's like not a thing I've ever really done. But yeah, it's great. I love it a lot. It works out for my current like lifestyle a lot. So
Do you feel is this like a new chapter in your life? Okay, this is how you can really tell that you're a changed person is if on your off days you still get up really early.
oh yeah, 100%. I wake up at 6 a.m. now. That's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's brutal. But yeah, I mean, not much is different really. I'm about to move into a new place and kind of just been focusing on figuring that out and still play a lot of Magic the Gathering. I probably do that too much, but that's okay.
You got to have something that centers you, that keeps you grounded, keeps you yourself. That's, I mean, it's like no matter how much you have to give up video games, Magic is always there for you to comfort you in those cold nights.
Yeah, it's definitely the reason I don't play very many video games now is because I would much rather and usually do play Magic instead. But I'm trying to be better about that because I keep buying video games.
Yeah.
I just keep playing Magic, and it's definitely not working. It's not helping me beat these video games.
I do that, and I tell myself I'm going to play those games, and then I think it's the lie that keeps me going. Like the lie that I will eventually come back to it.
Yeah.
I will say the Steam Deck has kind of had me going back and playing games I've never I was going to say was never going to play. That might be a little harsh, but there were a lot of games in my catalog, especially indies, that I was just like, I'll get to that. And probably was never going to.
Yeah.
And the Steam Deck has me like getting to those games now. Like I played, this is going to come out of nowhere. I didn't even mention this to you the other day. I played Far Lone Sales or whatever. Do you remember that?
I don't.
They released a I'll send you this. So it was like an indie game. According to Google, it was a 2018 release, which is funny because in my head it's even older than that. Like I was thinking like 2015 maybe.
Yeah.
But it's a 2018 release, and it was just a little indie game that like doesn't seem super long, doesn't seem super like taxing mentally or anything like that. Just very move from left to right, and some emotional music plays in the background. But the key of it was sort of that you have this ship, and you're constantly having to maintain the ship, like the energy levels, and raise and lower the sails, and
Okay.
gather fuel and resources and things like that, store them on the ship, refill
Yeah.
the fuel. And I was on a flight from the West Coast the other day, and I really needed something to play. And fucking Tales of, what's the new Tales game?
Oh, I
Uh,
could not tell you.
fuck.
All of them
Tales
sound the
of
same to me.
uh, Tales of Arise. That's the one.
Oh,
The new Tales of Arise kept crashing on the Steam Deck when I got to a certain cutscene, which was kind of annoying. And I was like, I could fuck with the graphic settings, or I could just play something else. So I just played something else. So I started playing Far Lone Sails. That game is really good. I I don't know. I don't remember how it reviewed. I think people pretty much like it. Like I think it was very well
yeah.
received. But I'm gonna say, like, especially the music. And it's like a perfect Steam Deck game. Like the controls are perfect. It's got just the right amount of like, you don't have to be super accurate with the controls, which I think any game where you have to be very accurate with the Steam Deck analog sticks is not going to work out well for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really silly. So shit like that, I'm like going back and randomly picking up from my Steam library and playing. Like I played through Yakuza Kiwami
Nice.
on my Steam Deck also,
Yeah.
which is weird because I never thought I would be a Yakuza guy.
You gotta play Like a Dragon. Unless you don't like turn-based stuff that much, then probably not, but it's so good.
I don't usually, but I do want to play Like a Dragon. But I
Yeah.
am very committed to going one by one.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like I'm that dude. I will not I will not start at the end. Now I'm gonna play. I played Kiwami, which is Yakuza 1.
Yeah.
I've played Yakuza 1 now from start to finish. I know the story. And now I have to play Kiwami 2. And I'm gonna go in release order. So
Isn't there a 0? Didn't you already release order?
yeah,
Okay.
0 I actually did play a little bit. And I have played some Yakuza in the past, but I never like took it seriously at all.
Yeah.
Like I played like when it was like I think either PS2 or PS3, one of those games, just randomly. But didn't get very far. Didn't like it at that time. I thought brawlers were kind of boring. I still think that, which maybe is like offensive to people who like those games.
No, they are kind of boring. I mean, they're like fun if they're for you, but in my opinion, they are like kind of boring.
My eyes just glaze over after this 1000th fight with like the same looking guys and the same. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely like the turn your brain off kind of action, which is totally fine, but that by definition is also kind of boring to me. If you like can't just turn your brain off, then you're probably bored.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I don't know if this is true in Like a Dragon, but there are so many random encounters in Kiwami.
Yeah, it's really bad actually in Like a Dragon. It's the thing that's at this point that I came back to it this year to try and finish it, and the random battles are what kill it for me because there's just so many. Like it just is I don't know. I just feel like I'm wasting my time, and you can turn on auto battling, so it will literally do it all for you.
That's cool.
and I'm just trying to like get more story and like finish the game, and I can't because there's so many battles,
Yeah,
and they're like, yeah,
it's a shame when I feel this way about a lot of games. This would be the perfect segue into God of War, in my opinion. But we can get to that. I find there are so many games where I'm enjoying the story and the gameplay is just in the way.
yeah.
Um,
I strongly feel that way about God of War. I want to be very clear. I would much rather be watching this game than playing it
yeah,
most of the time.
yeah, it's
And I don't
weird.
even mean that as like really a bad thing about the game itself. It's just like I don't know. I'm noticing too, especially now, I'm like, unless it's a Dark Souls game, I like very rarely want to play the same game twice. And
Yeah,
ultimately that's what Ragnarok is. It's the same game
yep,
again. And I don't again mean that really in a bad way. Like there was really no reason for them to need to change things that much.
yeah.
They just polished it more and like refined what they had, but it is kind of the same game again, and I just don't care enough.
That is like what has me so hesitant to get into the rest of the Yakuza games.
Yeah.
I found a way to enjoy Kiwami for what it is. Like I really like the
Yeah.
story. I thought the fighting was fine. It was okay enough. But I just
Yeah.
know that like the next 5 games are going to be basically that with some refinements. And
Yeah.
games like that just are really tough for me to swallow these days, unless I do have kind of a soft spot in my brain for RPGs, Mass Effect, and like every BioWare RPG is basically the same game. That's a little reductive, but
But I
you know,
mean, it's like in my opinion, it's like no argument that those are a lot harder to play the second time because you've already played them. Whereas the
yeah,
narrative is like driving you that first experience,
yeah,
regardless of the gameplay. You're just so driven by the narrative. But then once you've gotten the narrative and you're just playing the game again, you're like, well, fuck, I don't really want to do this.
yeah. Or it's been long enough that you're like, I can, yeah. Because I mean, Mass Effect is one of those.
Right.
Like, I mean, I've played through Mass Effect 1 probably 5 times at this point. Absolutely
Yeah.
adore that game, but
Yeah.
there's some things about RPGs that even though they're janky, shooters similarly, even though they can be janky, like BioShock 1.
Yeah.
I find the mechanics satisfying enough on what I want from video games that I can play through those games again or similar games.
Yeah.
Like there's not a huge leap from BioShock 1 to BioShock 2, for instance. It's like, oh
No.
shit, yeah, you have a drill now sometimes, right?
Right.
But otherwise it's pretty much the same game. But I was okay with that, and I do not feel that way about a lot of other genres. JRPGs, like turn-based games, uh, drive me insane.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around the fun of them. That Tales of Arise game I tried, I was interested in it because a lot of people who don't like that style of game or like haven't played a lot of Tales games in the past were into it, and Tales fans are into it, which is crazy. It's like remember when Monster Hunter finally went mainstream with Monster Hunter World?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like I liked Monster Hunter 1 on the PlayStation 2. Like I was fine
Right.
with it. And then I never played another one after that. And then I remember when World came out, I was just like, wait, hold on. Everyone is fucking loving this game now.
Yeah.
Like it's like one of those moments, and people really like that Tales of game, or like a Dragon. Like a Dragon got so many
Mhm.
people into Yakuza,
Yeah.
um, and so it's one of those things where I'm like, I should like this game, or I should give this game a shot at least, like an honest shot. But it's not doing it. I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
but so we're like chomping at the bit. I can feel it. So let's talk about God of War. Because I'm a little bit further than you. I don't know. Did you?
Yeah. I'm still in Ironwood,
Okay.
unfortunately.
God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Still, what? Sony Santa Monica. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
New director.
is it not Cory Barlog again?
It is not.
Oh, okay, okay. I, to be honest, just kind of assumed it was him again.
Yeah, he had to step away for like reasons, not because he like didn't want to do it, but I think it was like he didn't want to be as involved, so he could like have a life kind of thing, if I
Yeah,
recall.
yeah, understood.
So yeah, he was I want to say still creatively involved, just not as much as the
I
last
mean,
time.
he's the director of the studio, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I actually have no idea,
But
but you
Eric Williams,
probably right.
according to this article, is the new director. So, and I'm reading, I'm just looking at the headline of this. God of War Ragnarok director Eric Williams has revealed that Cory Barlog, the director of the last game, gave him a list of 3 things that has to happen in the sequel. I kind of want to know what those are, but
Yeah.
I'll look at that in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously sequel to God of War 2018, very very direct sequel, I feel
Yeah. Pretty immediate.
It's funny how they make it feel immediate, but it's clear that Atreus has aged a lot. Which is weird.
Wait.
Unless I'm
What do you
just totally misreading that, and I did not read anything anywhere, but I remember him being a lot younger. Like it's been like 3 to 5 years or something like that.
Right. I can't remember the exact time skip, but they say it on screen, I'm pretty sure.
Do they? Okay.
And it's roughly the same amount of time that's passed in real life almost.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe give or take a year or two.
Yeah.
So
I want to say
I
he
just it is really
was.
jarring to hear his voice from 2018 because there's like the recap. It's like really jarring
I
to
actually
hear
didn't
his
watch the recap.
voice. Yeah, that you didn't need to.
Yeah.
It's way worse than the YouTube ones. His voice from like the 2018 game and then immediately hearing his new voice, it's like, holy shit, dude, you definitely aged a little bit. Like the
Yeah.
voice is not the same.
He was like 10 before, and now he's like 15 or something like that. Like it's
Yeah,
like that
so
kind of gap.
right.
But they pick up as though it was like immediate. I mean, I guess when I say immediate, like you get that after credits scene. Spoilers, by the way, for God of War 2018, like immediately.
Yeah.
You get that after credits scene for that happened in 2018 where Thor shows up.
Yes.
Which I guess.
Do you remember how they present that scene in the 2018?
Yeah, I do. Vaguely anyway. It's like he lands and he's got his hammer and it's electrified. It's almost like a dream sequence, right?
Yeah, it is actually. That's funny you say that. But
Okay.
it's after the credits and
Yes.
it starts with years later.
Oh,
So
it does. Okay, got it.
even then, because I remember before I played Ragnarok, I had heard, I think in a review, it picks up immediately where it left off. And I was like, oh, I didn't expect that because it leaves off with Thor. I was like, there's no way they're going to literally pick up right there. Like that seems like a hype action moment that they would rewrite to be a lot like bigger of a moment. But then the way they do it is, they take you back in time, technically leading into the moment where Thor comes. I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then that whole moment where Thor and the other guy come, it's like, really good. I like how they start the game a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if they have plans for another one, and I haven't gotten to the end of this game yet, so
I haven't. I don't know anything about how it ends, but they said they don't want this to be a trilogy. It's just going to be 2 games, and then whatever happens to whoever characters, I wouldn't be surprised if that leads to another.
Sure, like another games, God of War. Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of the story they're telling with the characters that they've given us, this is going to be it for now.
I think that I anticipated this game would spend more time leading into the Thor situation. So
I thought it was going to be a bigger part.
So I don't know if that really matters to me overall and how I feel about this game, but I found the beginning of this game pretty. So Thor shows up as promised, but instead of it being like a big bombastic fight right away, there's like a really tense conversation.
Right.
Which I thought was great. Yeah. Thor there, Odin shows up and he's like skeevy in like a little finger from Game of Thrones kind of way.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good. And I really enjoyed, like, again, I think the writing is pretty strong here. Although they continue to use like really modern slang and things that always pull me out a little bit,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
funny. I mean, I get that that's just kind of something that they're doing, like it's just their style or whatever, but it is a
No,
little
I'm like
funny.
waiting for Atreus to be like lit, like
Exactly. Like
you
it's
know.
they're like a moment removed from like that's sick, bro. Like something like that.
Yeah,
Like it's
for real.
just
Yes.
it's but yeah, it's a good conversation and it's very tense and it's basically just, Thor and Odin being like, "Hey, we don't have beef with you. Like let's just agree to fucking leave each other alone. You could do your thing, we'll do our thing." And funnily enough, Kratos is
Nobody
just like,
wants Ragnarok.
yeah,
Fuck that,
right. Yeah,
right?
and
Let's all chill.
funnily enough, Kratos is automatically just like, I don't know you. Like, why would I agree to anything? And so, of course, it leads into a fight. And all of this stuff I think is really strong. Um, and then it gets into God of War mode, where it's exactly like you said, where it's you have a good boss fight that's like cinematic and not like challenging, but not like you could sleepwalk through it.
Yeah,
Like
you have to be
it's
somewhat present to not die.
and then it goes into the God of War 2018 gameplay, which is a mix of walking around slowly, doing
Yep.
exploration, scanning the
Yep.
environment, looking for collectibles and chests and blah blah blah. And it was at this point that I literally started to get sleepy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. The first like week it came out, I was like, I do not want to do this right now. I just don't care. Like, and I didn't.
it's and I it's like you said, like they didn't have to do anything new, so they didn't. I mean,
Yeah,
that's just it.
yeah.
If anything,
Yep.
it's even if it's the same now, like the same game as before. 2018 was stronger just because it was novel. It was
Yes.
like new then.
That that was like shockingly good gameplay for me at the time. I was like,
Yeah.
holy fuck, I never expected this from God of War. Like, this is great.
And I mean, I liked
And I
all.
just,
I mean,
yeah,
I played every console and like one or two of the PSP God of War
yeah,
games, the old
yeah,
ones,
same. Me
and
too.
those were good games.
Yeah.
But 2018 felt like a really fresh new version. It felt
Yeah.
like Kratos' move
And it was
set.
tight. It all worked. Like, it was
Yeah,
just like, this is fucking well made. Like, it was in an era of shit like Fallout 76 where it's like, we don't know if this is going to come out and function well. And it was fucking polished. It was just well made.
yeah. I mean, Sony games always you kind of expect a level of
That's true.
cinematic polish. You know what I mean? Like a very on rails kind of guided, focused
Yeah.
story first, or not first, but story emphasized game of kind of cinematic adventure, very
Yeah.
slow lumbering kind of movements. I'm thinking like Days Gone and Horizon and all the
Yep.
The Last of Us. All of these games recently share kind of a through line of DNA.
Yeah.
But the second time around, I enjoy it so much less.
Yeah. Same. 100%.
And and the worst part is I'm making myself do everything
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
just who I am as a player. Like I will do the side quests. I will get the collectibles. Like I'm not even trying, by the way, and I have 40
Yeah.
ravens. Like I'm just
Oh, Jesus. Crazy.
I'm just paying attention. You know what I mean? Like I'm not
Yeah.
even going out of my way. And
I will say I've been kind of the opposite most of the time. There will be things where I'm just like, oh, fuck it, I'll do it. But I've been so turned off by the gameplay. I'm just like, I'm the chest that it's like it has the three symbols and you just have to find the things in the same room as you to like,
yeah, I
yeah,
do every one
I'm
of
not
those.
even doing those. And I like can see them. I'm like, yeah, there they are. I just don't care. Like, I'm not gonna need whatever the fuck is in this chest. Like, I'm gonna cream this whole game. Like, no problem. Like, I
mean,
just don't need it. Who cares? Like,
you know what's funny though is I'm now probably 30 hours in. I feel like I'm in the late mid game, early end game, and it's
yeah.
getting kind of hard all of a sudden. Like shit's starting to
Interesting.
like two shot me in some boss fights, and these are optional boss fights, but still,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
there's some interesting stuff, gameplay wise, but so, um, so the story is really what's keeping me going because I feel like it's the
Yeah.
most
Same.
interesting part,
Yep.
even though I think Atreus is a lot less sympathetic this time around, but I mean they know that that's kind of intentional, but it's a little hard when you
Atreus is
yeah yeah like
not Kratos.
well I mean somewhat both, but I find myself this time like before in 2018 it was almost like the name of the game was you're supposed to sympathize and empathize with Atreus. He's the emotional core of the game, right? In 2018. And now I feel like it's kind of flipped, where Kratos is sort of the emotional core, even though they give him a lot less to do in this game. Like he has fewer lines and he's less of a focus. I feel like he's really what's keeping the story grounded most of the time, and
Hmm.
I'm starting to like empathize and like Atreus a lot less as things go. Um, I don't know. Do you disagree? You seem like you don't feel that way.
I think w- key moments aside, I think the opposite.
Okay.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think Kratos is kind of everything for me in the first one because he's the guy we've been on this journey with, assuming you would have played the things prior. And so it's like seeing how he has changed and how he's reacting to his son getting angry or his son being stupid or like, and he's just like, fuck, dude, I was a goddamn idiot like this, just a game ago. Like, fuck,
Yeah.
chill out, man. You don't want to go down this path. And it's just like, I like seeing the growth from Kratos in that one. And then in this one, kind of like you were saying, Kratos is like not absent, but definitely a little more chill. It's just like he just wants to see Atreus safe. And even though he wants to help Atreus find out these things, the ultimate thing he wants is just for Atreus to be safe while doing these
Sure.
things. And I think Kratos is like clearly worried about Ragnarok, but not for the same reason everybody else is. It's mostly just because of his son, not because he gives a fuck about the world, probably. And so I don't know. It's just like, so that being said, it's just like, okay, well, Kratos only cares about the safety. Atreus cares about all these other things right now. He's curious about Ragnarok, his mom, his name, the giants, Tyr. Like it just like it goes on, and then Kratos is just kind of there to be like, I'm gonna keep you safe for as long as I can, and that's pretty much it. That's like his whole motivation now. So for me, it is kind of the opposite, but
Yeah.
there are key moments where what you're saying is definitely true. I think like I guess both is true in both games. So I guess that's why
I
we're
think
both kind of right here.
I think what's interesting, and I mean, as you were talking, I started to sort of understand your perspective on it as well. I think the interesting part is it's really about, I guess, who it's not really who you identify with, but it's like who do you see as the reason, like the catalyst of the game,
Right.
right? So like
Yeah.
in my mind, it was like in the first game, Kratos was the focus, but Atreus was the reason for the all of pretty much everything
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
occur,
That's
and
true.
kind of
Yeah.
the
That's true.
reason for his development. So to me,
Yeah.
and in this one, it's I mean, um, there's a lot of stuff that you're coming up on that you'll see kind of creates a lot of more in like character development across both of them. But I feel like in the early parts of this game, Atreus is really just deciding things for himself, and that's the way it is. Um, and it makes him, and I'm sure that they're doing this intentionally. It makes him a little bit
Yeah.
unlikable as a character. But I guess so. Setting up the story, it's essentially the fallout of everything that happened from the first game, um, and Atreus discovering his identity and discovering his place in kind of his own life and his own story, and in Kratos' story. But um, kind of the big crux of it is, I feel like the theme, like the underlying theme for everything is like trust. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Yeah.
it's it's brought up so many times and it's kind of beaten a little bit over the head, but they spend so much time really just driving home how difficult it is to trust even your closest loved ones, not because you feel like they're going to betray you, but just because you're trying to protect them or you're trying to protect yourself, whatever. Like, you might have a reason to hide something from somebody that you care about, and it might be a good reason. And that still can be a bad thing, right? So
Yeah.
they spend a lot of time on stuff like that, and it's so funny because you'll go through like a moment where you're like, wow, that was really good, and then you have to do the game, and you're like,
Yeah.
the game
No,
is just wandering
no
around
fucking kidding,
and
bro.
punching through chests, and I
So
don't
can
know.
we talk about the game for a moment, but
Yeah,
it's not going to be what you expect. What did you think of playing as Atreus for the first time? Were you expecting that at all, or did you already know about it
I
beforehand?
didn't. I was kind of surprised. It more in the sense that, like, um, they were so committed to the single character thing in the first one, that I could see them doing that again. I'm glad they mixed it up. I think
Yeah, me too.
for
I
a
actually
minute.
like playing as Atreus other than Ironwood. Ironwood is a nightmare.
Yeah, I didn't like Ironwood. I liked playing as Atreus at first. I thought it was a nice change of pace. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sick of it now. Now where I am in the
I
game.
guess I don't know how much of it's coming, but I'm sick of it as of Ironwood. So if there's
Yeah,
much more of it after this, I'm going to be very sick of it.
yeah. There's plenty more.
Great. Awesome.
So I mean, they try to mix it up as much as possible. And there's a lot of different styles of game in this game. If that makes
Really.
sense. Like, they really try to diversify what you're doing.
I haven't noticed that yet, unless you mean the like random objectives you kind of walk around and do sometimes. But
Sure, like that stuff, or I mean, they so, like, one example, of course, is switching between Kratos and Atreus, right? But then one
okay,
example is there's they try to divide a lot more evenly the amount of time you spend exploring versus the amount of time you spend in, like, story moments versus the amount of time you spend in combat or doing side objectives or puzzle solving. It feels it's I see why they did it this way, because it's like very evenly segmented to make sure you never get too much of any one thing at a time. There's always
Hmm.
something else or a different type of game, like, right around the corner. The problem is
Yeah,
that it feels really clunky and artificial. So, like, you're like, it's almost like it's like a car. You, like, feel it shifting into cinematic story gear, and then you feel it
yeah,
shifting back into, walk around and punch chests gear, and then, go and do the arena gear and, like, all this shit.
yeah.
I mean, um and it is just, I where I am, I'm, like, so compelled to keep going, but I am so drained by the game. um I don't know. How many so as of Ironwood, you've been to a few of the different realms, so you've gotten to do some of the open world stuff, right?
Yeah. Other than the one quest that like the head on my hip asked me to do. He was like, please, I really made this huge mistake a long time ago. And now there's like these fucking, I don't know, oil mining, whatever the fuck. I don't
Yeah,
know. There's
yeah.
like, other than that literal thing, because I love that character. And I was like, I will do anything to make you happy, sir. Other than that, I haven't done anything other than look for the next fucking cutscene.
I like
I'm
how
just
you're
like
like, I'll do anything to
immediately
make
like,
you happy, head on my waist, and you don't even remember his name, do you?
I know his fucking name. It's Mimir. I just wanted
Okay.
to, be
Okay, got
extra. But
it.
it's just like I literally don't give a fuck about anything other than the story. And
Yeah.
like anytime I've had the freedom to do anything, my choice is to fucking like rush to the next story moment.
Yeah, it's tough. And you know what's even worse about that is there's actually a lot of story in the side content. Like,
Yeah, that's true for the first game too. And the first game I wanted to actually do the side stuff, and I kind of did throughout the game, and then also
yeah.
saved a bunch for the end that I ended up not going back and doing. But that is very true. When I leading up to this one coming out, I watched like this long thing that had all the relevant like lore and or cutscenes and or it's just like it had everything and it was
Yeah.
really well edited too. But it had a lot of the side stuff in it that I missed, and I was like, damn, this is like really good shit. And then they reference it a lot in this game too,
Yeah, they
just
do.
like
The Valkyrie
when
stuff.
Mimir's talking and stuff. I'm like, oh fuck, I did not expect them to directly reference that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's yeah, the game 1 and 2 are both jam packed with lore and the extra content. I don't know. I'm like getting old, man. Like I just
Yeah.
don't care. My time is precious.
I hear you.
I just
Yeah. It's
yeah.
always funny because you can never tell either which one is going to be worth it and which one
Right.
isn't until it's too
Yeah.
late.
That's very true.
I mean, I'm doing everything. I find all of it generally to be well written and interesting when they actually try, and it's not
Yeah.
just go around and do like an arena boss fight or something at every different world. But they find
Yeah.
reasons to make you go back to the worlds multiple times. So
For the main path?
yeah.
Okay.
So there
I
will
have
be
to
plenty.
go back to the dwarf place?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, buddy. Yeah, they'll find a reason. So there's but it's they do a good trick where you're like, oh, here again, and then it opens up and it's like a whole different part of that same area. So
Yeah.
it's okay, but it gives you the opportunity to go back and like mop up stuff you missed or use like a new ability to get somewhere that you couldn't before if you want
Yeah.
to. But it really is padding. I mean, I think I was literally playing it minutes before we got on here. I think I'm about 35 hours in now, and it's still just trucking along, man. I mean, I just got to a
Yeah.
new hub world, and
Oh,
it's
shit.
it's like just like here's a bunch of shit on your map to do. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It's like it's like eat your slop, pig. Like like
Yeah.
you'll enjoy it. Like I don't know, and I kind of do. But then I get really sick of it. Like I can only sit down and play this game for like a couple of hours, and I'm like, all right, that's it. I can't take anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we should really. I think we should talk about it again when we're done.
Yeah.
Because there's some stuff that's happening that I definitely want to talk to you about, and I'm sure that the last few sections of this game are going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no concept for what's going to happen, really. I mean, I have some ideas, but they could do pretty much anything they want at this point. I mean, it would all make sense.
Yeah, and it's kind of unfortunate because the more time I'm spending away from the game, I'll like kind of find myself thinking about the story and like what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think I'm starting to like figure it out. So I need to just play the game before I like, spoil myself by thinking about it too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I do think, because just based off of the tapestry and stuff, where they kind of like show us a broad thing of like, this is the stuff that's going to happen. And it's like, ooh, but what's really going to happen?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it a lot and like what Loki as like a character in that mythos like is. And I think I'm starting to figure out like how things could go down. So I need to finish it.
Yeah, there's a lot of mythology that they have to play with. And it's funny because they have the opportunity to. They have the prophecy angle. And so obviously they're not going to play out things exactly like that, but they have the opportunity to make it a perspective kind of thing where things happen essentially that way, but they can change little pieces and parts that make it like a technically true, like, oh yeah, this did happen, but it's like, I mean, they could really do whatever they want. So they have a lot of tools at their disposal, and I'm sure they're going to use them. But to me, it makes it harder to predict because it's like, they really have no restraints. The only thing that they absolutely won't do is exactly what you would expect. That's like the only thing that it feels like they definitely wouldn't do, right? Is like
Yeah.
Kratos dies and Atreus is sad or something like that. Like that's like
Right.
Atreus gets mad and becomes Kratos. Like that's come on.
Right.
Like so
Yeah, I would be really mad if they did that second one you said. That would be bad. But yeah. We'll definitely talk more when we're done about it.
yeah. Any last thoughts? Or are you feeling pretty good?
Yeah, no, I think I said everything.
What else are you playing?
Have you played Vampire Survivors?
No. Talk about a game that
Uh
is not for me.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I played it a lot when it came out, and the dude that made it has updated it a bunch since then, and I
Yeah.
recently got back into it. I've been playing that a fuck ton lately.
Really?
Yeah. So you not having played it or being interested, I won't stick on this too long, but yeah, he's added a fuck ton of content and way more than I ever thought the game would have. And he just did a paid DLC, and I haven't even really scratched the surface of all that. But yeah, I'm playing that a bunch.
Really? How much is the DLC? Because the game's like $3 or something.
The DLC is like $2, I think.
Dude, that's like 75%.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those DLCs that's just like to continue receiving the content updates that he does.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, because he's done so much content for free, and the DLC is like one stage and like 3 or 4 characters, which he adds like that amount of content constantly. Like that's nothing.
Really?
I'm assuming it's just like you're buying in to get the new content updates.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so this will determine whether or not I'm interested. Is that the kind of game that you would normally go for, or no? Like is that like a kind of game? Because it's like a roguelike thing that you just
Have
play.
you played it at all?
I mean, no, I haven't even really
it's
looked
pretty
at
unique. I don't really think there is a game I've ever played like it before, which could be part of the reason why I like it so much. And actually, I recently discovered on Steam there's a bunch of clones of it with like slightly more modern graphic styles.
Nice.
And I'm like, oh fuck, I had never considered this. Like I might be going down a really dangerous rabbit hole soon.
It kind of reminds me of Geometry Wars.
Yeah. Okay. So imagine Geometry Wars, but it shoots for you.
Nice.
So you're totally focused on just dodging.
Just moving around. Okay.
Yes. And like getting the power ups. It's like, okay, here's all the attacks. I'm going to get out of the way. Oh, fuck, there's a power up. I'm going to go for it. It shoots everything automatically. You have no control over like your offensive powers. And I don't know. I can't think of another game I've ever played that's like it, and it's so addictive for some reason, and it also being capped at 30 minutes because like a roguelike,
so it just ends.
Death comes.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you can be so overpowered death can't immediately kill you, but yeah, it will end roughly right after 30 minutes, give or take a minute. But yeah, so your goal is not to like see how long you can go. Your goal is to last the 30 minutes until death comes, and that's pretty hard at first. Eventually it gets pretty easy to do that, but it becomes more about like unlocking new ways to play, like new weapons and new characters and stuff like that. And then now that I've kind of unlocked everything other than DLC stuff is when I can start upping the difficulty if I wanted to, but now I'm kind of burned out, so I'll probably take a break again. But yeah, I've been playing that a bunch.
Could I play this on my Steam Deck or?
It's on Steam. If it's not Steam Deck compatible, that blows my mind.
Interesting. Would it be good on the Steam Deck though? I guess
I think so. Yeah, it's on mobile now, and I've highly considered getting it on my phone because that would be the perfect game to play while I'm just waiting for something in real life to happen.
Gotcha.
It passes the time so fucking quick. It's insane. Well, I went to go see Avatar last weekend, and I wake up at 6 a.m. now. So I'm like, fuck, my movie's at 10 a.m. What am I going to do for 4 hours? I don't know. Nobody's awake. And I just played Vampire Survivors, and I shit you not, and this doesn't happen to me very often these days. The time just snapped away. I literally like looked and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna be late. Like I
Oh
had
man.
no idea. It just passes the 30 minutes so fast.
Okay, so let's
Dangerously
let's
fast.
let's talk about Avatar because I'm not gonna watch it. So tell me what you think.
Yeah, gladly. Did you watch the first one?
Yeah, the when it came out in theaters, and that was
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Okay,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Can I dip into spoiler territory, or is you just
dude.
would
Yeah,
rather?
I do not care at all.
All
I'm
right.
really
I'm not going to be
curious.
super specific, but I'll be like, these are general spoilers about the plot, not like, you'll see what I mean. They literally bring characters back to life. Like, not, I guess literally is pushing that one word too far, but characters that died come back in some form. I don't,
Okay, so
it's,
the mean general comes back. Colonel,
yes,
whatever the fuck his name was. I don't
yes,
remember. Yeah.
yes. He's not the only one, but yes.
Okay.
Uh, characters come back that were dead.
I don't even who
And
else died. I can't. I mean, like other named characters.
no, he's basically the only main one. The rest
Okay.
are just nobodies, but it's still just like it's a plot device that is not set up at all in the first movie. And they're just like, we liked that bad guy and these other characters. We'll just bring them back because
Yeah.
we're Avatar. And I guess we think we can just do that and it not be really bad.
Is he a different being now? Is he like a different creature? Shit.
It's so bad.
Okay.
So the first hour of the movie is almost like a weird and bad retelling of the first movie.
Okay.
Well, okay, let me explain again. The first like 10 minutes, are like, here's what the characters have been up to, and it's like, oh, he's a dad now. Here's the kids. This one likes fighting. This one likes the plants. This one is a baby.
How long has it been?
Canonically in the movie,
Yeah. PS5 is going into race
it's
mode.
been a while, I guess, because he started a family and yeah.
Okay, so but they don't give
It's
you
been
like a.
years.
It's not like the movie starts and it's like 5 years later or whatever. Like
No, I think it. Yeah, I guess I can't remember honestly.
yeah.
Yeah, but no, I don't think it does that. It's just kind of a voiceover type thing. He's like literally explaining like, here's everything you're seeing on screen. Like this is it. This is the kid. Here's what they do, and then you see it. Anyway,
Okay.
so you get like a 10 minutes of like where they're at now, and that's actually pretty good. I enjoyed that. Then there's another like hour of why don't we retell the first movie in a weird way that you're not going to like? And so they do that, and then we're finally at what I would call where the movie starts, and this is like over an hour in, I'm pretty sure. If it's not, it felt like forever, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was like an hour in, and they finally go to the water. And I'm like, holy fuck, I forgot this movie was about water because I've been watching the first movie again. Um, and then the movie is fucking insanely good. Well, you know, it's like a summer action movie type thing. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of action. It's not like super deep,
Sure.
but I think the lore and world building in Avatar 1 is like pretty decent. Not like mind blowingly good, but it's like decent. It's better
Yeah.
than like, I don't know, most summer action movie plots and like world building. So, them all the time that they're spending going more in depth of like shit like that, and it's just like, look at this cool shit they can do with their hair, penis, and
Hmm.
look at, I
I
don't know,
will.
just all this cool stuff on this planet. It's just like, all right, I fuck with this, and I don't know. And then the movie sort of, and I don't mean this in a bad way, honestly, but it sort of starts to follow the exact same formula of the first movie. Just
There's water now.
the humans are here, they want a resource. Them obtaining the resource directly fucks with us, so we have to retaliate. Like that's pretty much the general thing happening, and that's exactly what was happening in the first
Do the
movie.
humans attacking? Do they remember what happened in the last one, or
Oh yeah.
Like, are they the same people basically? Like, are there like characters from it that are like, let's get those fuckers back, or is it like a totally different crew?
Both.
Okay,
There's a lot of both. And
okay,
it's weird because the new people that they bring in are like really underused and they're
okay.
not like bad actors or anything. It's super weird how they really wanted to double down on bringing characters back. But
When this ends up on
um
HBO Max or Disney Plus, I will probably watch it. But I
yeah,
cannot
it'll be
bring
on Disney
myself
Plus.
to go
Yeah.
to the movies. I just
Yeah. I really like going to the movies for some reason. I just love really big screens and really loud noises.
oh yeah.
It's really just that simple for me. Like I would go watch a really shitty movie in theater if I just wanted to go to the movies.
Yeah, I kind of have. I don't know why I have such a negative feeling about Avatar, but I do. I don't
I
think the movie's bad, but something
well,
about it.
it's like not as good though as the numbers would reflect. Is I think kind of
And unfortunately, I think
like it
that's
definitely
always
doesn't
true.
deserve to be like the like highest grossing movie of all time. Like that's
Yeah,
fucking ridiculous.
yeah.
But I think it's decent. You know, it's a good
Have you noticed that
watch.
people are like rehabilitating that movie now? Like people are going back and acting like it was always really amazing, which is kind of what they do for everything when it comes back around. Like it's like the same
It-
thing that happened with the Star Wars prequels, which I'm on board with, by the way. I think the Star Wars prequels are kind of
okay,
shit,
well,
but
let's be clear about the Star Wars thing.
yeah,
That's a generational shift. The people talking about Star Wars now are the people that grew up with the prequels. The people
yeah,
that shout all over them for years are the people that grew up with the original trilogy.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Which people like us could argue either way because I watched the original trilogy as a kid before there were
yeah,
prequels. But
same.
realistically, we grew up as kids with the prequels. That was new Star Wars to us. Like, there's a part of me that's always going to love the prequels, and then there's the other part of me that when I rewatch them, I'm just like, holy fuck, why did you have to say that? That was so
Yeah,
cringe.
yeah. I think I totally agreed, but I do think that there is kind of a weird generational thing with Avatar too, if you think about it. I mean,
Yeah, no, I agree. We
it's
watched it when we were in high school. I mean,
2009, so yeah, right, starting out high school for me,
yep.
and
Hmm.
there are children. There are
Right,
people who were 9 years old when that movie came
right.
out who are now, whatever, 22 or I don't know.
In high school. No, I mean,
Yeah.
if you were 9 when it came out, you're in high school now, maybe. So it's just like, yeah.
Wait, no, that movie came out in 2009, right? You'd be
Okay, yeah,
It's
right out of high
2022.
school.
Yeah.
Right, you're
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, yeah. Time passed.
Um but yeah, I mean it's
Yeah,
so
no, I agree.
I see it as a generational thing also. Um
Yeah,
but it's funny. I mean,
like what Avatar is would have been cooler to us back then. So, like, right, I agree.
yeah,
Is what I'm
yeah.
saying. Yeah,
I don't know, but I yeah, so I'm in this weird place with it where I like want to know. I want to do my due diligence and see so I can decide for myself. But in
yeah,
my mind, I've unfairly already decided. You know what I mean? Like I really don't want to like it at all. I
yeah.
just don't. I don't know. There's something unappealing about it to me. Like I saw the trailer and that one Avatar dude with dreads. I was like, what are we doing here? What is
I think
this?
that's the main dude.
Is it really?
Yeah, he has dreads at the end of the first movie.
Does he? I do not remember that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just like weird stuff. I don't know, but
Um. Anyway, though, I will tell you that trailer is like a better representation of what the movie should have been than what the movie actually is.
okay.
And it sucks like how much time they end up spending with characters that aren't at the water. Like I just don't care. Go back to the fucking water.
Yeah.
This is where all your time and energy went. Clearly.
How are the
Like fuck off.
graphics?
Oh, they're insane.
Okay.
I watched it in 3D IMAX and I want to watch it not in 3D because for me 3D isn't like that great. And I feel like a lot of people say that, but I don't know, like James Cameron usually does a really impressive job with like the 3D and like the higher frame rate thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is just like a default for Way of the Water. If you're seeing it in IMAX, it's like the default, the higher frame rate. Whereas like the Hobbit movies, you had to choose
Yeah.
to see it in the higher frame rate, and it cost like minimum $30, and that was back then.
Are you
So it was
serious? I
really
did not.
expensive.
I didn't watch those movies either. Funnily enough, still haven't.
Yeah, me and B Paul went to see the Hobbit in the higher frame rate version, and it was really fucking wacky.
Huh.
To like that was way before I was adjusted to high frame rate stuff. Like I didn't, have like a nice PC or anything, so it was really strange. But
Well, and even
seeing
then, high frame rate movies, I don't think are. I don't think that
no,
should.
that's
I don't think
very
that should be a
uncommon.
thing.
Yeah,
Like
it's very uncommon. I think it's fine, but it is very weird.
It's like
It was similar to watching a movie with like motion smoothing on,
which is
but in a
terrible.
theater.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which I mean
yeah,
is truly
it
awful.
is weird. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I want to watch it without the 3D and stuff to sort of just see how good the graphics are without all that. But it was really, really impressively good. I mean, I don't think anyone really thought it was going to look bad, but it is insanely good for sure. But I mean, then again, when I was playing God of War the other day, like right after I saw the movie, I was like, you know what? This is insanely good too. Kratos' face looks really fucking good right now. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the thing. Is I mean, it's kind of it's exactly like video games. Like
Yeah.
CG has a little bit of diminishing returns, especially when it's surrounded by CG. Like
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I always go back to the bear in the Revenant as looking particularly bad.
I didn't even think about that. I haven't watched that in a while, but I love that scene. I didn't even
I mean,
notice or like think about it being CG.
that director,
Oh yeah,
Inarritu
dude.
or Alejandro
Yeah, I don't know his
Inarritu.
name, but I love all his movies. Yeah.
I'm sure I'm pronouncing it poorly, but he he always is amazing with his shots. So I mean,
Yeah.
his films are great. For the most part, I haven't seen his most recent one, Bardo, but uh, I agree it's a good scene, but the bear is distracting because it doesn't look quite right. It doesn't fit in well enough. And it's not his fault. It's literally just the technology for that level of focus isn't there for CG. I think.
Yeah.
But knowing how to frame it is like key, right? Or surrounding it in CG. So I think like for instance, like I was watching Andor today because I'm like way behind on things.
Yeah, I haven't watched Andor.
It's fucking
yet.
amazing, by the way.
That's what I've heard.
It's insane. I mean, I'd heard that and I was like, yeah, okay. Because like,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. No, I was just listening to a podcast today actually talking about Andor with no spoilers. It was just them talking about it. And they're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we haven't seen anybody go to space or anything. It's just like all grounded in like a political like drama almost. And I'm like, yo, okay.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, the funny thing is that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, when they finally do go to space, it looks good. Like it looks really good. And it's because they, scenes like that are just all CG.
Yeah.
And everything kind of blends together and they do it well enough. The design is good.
Yeah. Do they use the volume, I assume, or
No.
do you know what that is?
No,
Okay,
no.
They don't.
They're not using the volume. And the show looks a lot better for it, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because the volume is a cool tool to have, and I think that first season of The Mandalorian is pretty neat. But Andor, the reason it's so good, part of the reason it's so good is that you could tell they spent a lot of time thinking about how to get around their very practical constraints. So like, for instance, they built a lot of sets. And they use them really wisely in the way that the show is written. They like factor in their limitations. And it's extremely good for that reason. Like I watched the Obi-Wan show and that's like the complete opposite. The Obi-Wan show was written like they have a movie budget. And then they had like a $3 budget and some bubble gum and then tried to make it work. And it just looked really awkward half the time. Like there's some good scenes in that show, but overall, the Obi-Wan show I think looked really.
Did you
cheesy.
watch it? You've watched it all the way?
The Obi-Wan show?
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
do want to talk about that.
Yeah.
That whole show was worth it to me just to see that scene in the last episode where the like conversation basically happens.
Yeah.
I loved that so much. It made up for the rest of it, but I generally was displeased with how that all happened. But
I mean, the quality of the show is pretty bad, and the scope was way outside of what they realistically had time for. So there's just a lot of scenes and a lot of things that happen that you're like, what does this have to do with anything? And then it only kind of does. Like they literally could have, like, imagine if this was a fan short film, because I mean that's kind of what these Star Wars things are, like fan films at this point. I mean that's And imagine if this was like a fan short film and they made it. It would literally just be basically like the first and the last episode, essentially, like stitched together. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what it would be. And you could get away with that narratively, because there's like some reasons for this other stuff, but you don't need it. Leia didn't have to be in it at all.
No,
there really didn't need to be any of these additional characters. Although I really ended up liking, and I've already forgotten everyone's name. I ended up liking the inclusion of the like Sith Inquisitors or whatever. Like, some of them,
especially the one whose name I forget, the main one that got the most screen time.
You talking about the woman or the guy? Yeah,
the woman.
Yeah,
she was awesome.
She was really good. I liked her. I liked all of them. I mean, and some of them were in the game or the show. Was it the cartoon? Some of them.
Yeah,
some of those
the main one that like fake died was the main one in the animated series. He's the main Inquisitor.
Didn't watch any of that stuff, so I had no idea. I found out later, but
it was a whole thing too, because he dies in the animated show, which takes place way after Obi-Wan. So when he died in Obi-Wan, everyone was convinced they were going to start retconning stuff really hard.
And he comes back.
And then he came back at the end, and I was like, you fucking idiots. They're not about to
That's hilarious.
hard retcon Star Wars now. Like, that would have happened when Disney bought it.
So, did you play Jedi Fallen Order?
Yeah, I'm a fan.
That base that they go to in Obi-Wan, the sea base, is the exact same one. Did you notice that?
it's a mobile fortress, by the way. So it wasn't in the same place, but it was the same base.
Same base, yeah.
Yes.
But
yes.
This takes place after that?
Fallen Order. I don't know its exact timeline, actually, when that takes place. I just remember when I did look it up.
Within a few years of each other.
Okay, I just remember when I did look it up when I played the game, I realized they could easily pull in that actor if he just grew a beard.
Yeah.
Into the live action, and in the next game he has a beard, so I was like, oh, they're gonna do it. Or they're gonna kill him.
Yeah. Now I want to look up, but the thing about that I thought was really funny was, how did they let a person break into the same exact base 2 times? I don't know. Anyway, I mean, it was like, y'all,
that whole thing is so bad, dude. And then when they're like sneaking out, and he's just like literally like barely. Okay, yeah. So I'll say it again, and then that's pretty much all I need to say. The fucking scene at the end made up for everything I disliked, because that was so well done with the voice splicing and just the shit being broken and like the lighting. I was like, this is a fucking masterpiece. This is all I needed. I'm just going to forget about the rest now.
I even really liked the flashback scenes that they sprinkled in that had Anakin and Obi-Wan like chatting and training and stuff. Like, I thought all that stuff was really good. The show really just needed to be that, like 100% of the time.
or just more Obi-Wan and less of all the other shit. Like some of the moments that are just Obi-Wan sort of reflecting on who he is now and like the state of things now and just stuff like that is like, I really liked that. And just like random other shit that's like maybe not done as well, but I still like with the dude who's the actor name I forget, and this is gonna pain me, but the dude I love who is faking to be a Jedi and just weird stuff like that. I'm like,
Oh
okay, I like that
yeah,
we got to see that. Like,
yeah.
it might
Fucking
not have been done perfectly, but
was this?
we're getting to see cool stuff that I don't always get to see. And then
Yeah,
just even smaller stuff like him seeing the clone trooper, like homeless guy on the streets, just like with
yeah,
the please give me change and like the crazy beard. I'm like, that's just fucking cool Star Wars shit I don't get to
yeah.
see
Cool,
every day.
cool
Like,
world building. So, dude, Andor is literally all that stuff.
yeah,
Like
that's what I've heard.
it is
Yeah.
all of that stuff. It's so cool. All the and you know what the worst part is like all of the dialogue and the plot events and the character motivations and everything is just so well written.
Yeah.
It just makes you look so much more harshly at all those other shows. Like even The
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 1, which I thought was pretty good when it came out, now in retrospect seems so much worse because it's just like imagine if they just had stronger writers and a little bit stronger direction. Because Andor is like a
Do
political
you know?
spy thriller first
Right.
and a Star Wars show second, and I think that's so cool.
Did you know the whole show is directed in 3 episode chunks? So every 3 episodes is a different director, and like those 3 episodes is like their focus.
For
Like, and
Andor.
that's for Andor.
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
I thought, I think that, at least from what I'm hearing, played really well for them. I think that was a good move.
It's cool.
Because Mandalorian is like every episode is all over the place. Like this
And I
one's
mean,
that guy, this
like,
one's that girl.
it's interesting because you have, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's most shows. The most
Yeah,
shows are
exactly.
each
Right.
episode is a different director.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, that's what I thought was so good about Atlanta was that they managed to have one director
Oh
through the
my
whole thing.
god, dude.
Like
Yeah.
Hiro Mariah being the only director through that entire series
Yeah.
is pretty crazy. But
Yes.
with maybe a couple of, I think maybe they had some guest directors on occasion. But
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
most
There's
part,
there's a few that are very random directors, but yeah.
um,
There's a yeah.
but yeah, I mean, we should talk about Andor. You should watch it before we record again, and we should talk about it because
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
really.
I would
I'm
like to
not
do
done
that.
with it yet. I'm like a few
Okay.
episodes from the end, but it's one of those things that I'm so glad I gave it a chance because it's special. Like like after this, like the guy who wrote it, I will follow him to whatever he does, Star Wars related or not. After this, like he's
Who did write it, by the way? I haven't looked into
a guy.
the
I think his
showrunners.
name's Tony Gilroy, something like that. I'll tell you right now.
Tony Soprano, forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah, Tony Gilroy. I don't know anything about him. Apparently he's from Manhattan, so maybe I'll run into him on the street. He did work on Rogue One. It looks like he did the screenplay as well, but I know Gary Whitta did a lot of the writing for that, which Gary Whitta was like
Yes, he
formerly
did.
a video games guy.
Yeah. He did Book of Eli too, way before Rogue One.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Which is also really good.
Yeah, it is. I haven't rewatched it since I originally saw it, and I've always meant to, and I just
Same.
never have sat down and done it.
It's like saved on my
Yeah.
Like to watch list. I think it's on Amazon maybe. Or anyway.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
So I guess he did the screenplay for all the Bourne movies, which is pretty funny. Tony Gilroy.
Okay.
He also wrote Michael Clayton, which is a movie that I've always wanted to watch and never remembered.
I don't even think I know what that is.
Michael Clayton is a George Clooney led movie. I remember when it came out, and my grandparents went to see it, and I didn't go because I was like, that looks really boring.
Yeah.
It's literally about a guy who works for a law firm as like a guy who gets them out of like shitty situations. But I'm pretty sure he does it by breaking the law. I'm not entirely sure, but anyway. So I guess he wrote that. I've been meaning to watch that for years now and never have. But so he's got some pedigree. But I'll I'll give him a chance on anything. Like, I mean, it's clear. I mean, just watch it. We'll talk about it in detail. We could do a whole episode on Andor. It's clear he fucking really cared about Star Wars, knew what the deal was, knew what Lucas was trying to do with like the stormtroopers and stuff, and like he even finds a way to tie it into like current politics.
Yeah.
Like the way you hear people speaking about the Imperials, because like, because the whole thing about it is like Star Wars, the prequel trilogy is like, okay, the Republic is inherently good, and then it turns into the Empire, which is inherently evil, and then you have the Rebellion, and but you always have to think about like how did you get to that point? Like, how did you get to the point where the Empire was really what it is? And of course, the prequels show that, but it's a little bit too focused on the heroes to really get into the nitty gritty of like what the people think. It just kind of seems ridiculous. Like, it's just like, give this guy all the power. But in Andor, they spend a lot of time listening to people talk and like how they talk. And it feels extremely realistic to the time that we're living in now, where people are just like giving their rights away for the sake of like safety or something. Like a person will be like, oh yeah, I do think that we should have like extreme imperial oversight because I don't know, cities are unsafe. And a character goes, when was the last time you actually felt unsafe? like do you go out on the streets ever, or do you just sit in a tower somewhere and like be afraid? Like just shit like that. It's pretty good. So definitely watch it. It's got one of the guys from The Bear in it also for a few episodes. I don't know if you watched that show yet, but
I haven't, but I'm familiar.
I like
with
that
it.
show.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good.
But this is now a TV show podcast. Congratulations, everybody.
Yeah, it's about time. We made
it.
Yeah, I've been dying to talk about movies on here,
dude. Yeah, we should just do it. We should just do it.
I think it's fair game for us to talk about whatever we want.
I think so too.
Yeah.
This is our show. We're just here to fucking hang out, man.
Facts.
Facts. All right. Okay. So Avatar. You gotta give me an infinite scale rating.
Oof. Yeah. That's tough. That's really tough. Because let me put it like this. If they did cut that first hour that I very just bluntly don't like, the movie would still be over 2 hours long.
What?
Yes. It's a 3 hour and 12-minute movie without credits.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it's really bad. So I think a lot of my issues are suddenly solved without that first hour being a part of it. And I really like everything that's not that first hour. It is like sort of just like follow the same formula as the first one, even without the first hour. It's like the humans are here, they want the resource, it fucks with the planet, we don't like that. Like, okay. That makes sense that they would stick to a formula because it'd be way more crazy for them to do something new and risky when they're spending that much money. Like it makes sense that they followed a formula, but that being said, like I really like what they do, even though they're following a formula. It just sucks that the first hour is actually bad. Like when I was sitting there, I thought I had made a horrible mistake and I might actually leave. Like I was having such a bad time. But when they get to the water, it all gets a lot better. Visually, music, plot, like it all just suddenly fucking skyrockets to a much better place.
Man, that is so crazy. Okay. I'm interested. So in a year when it comes to Disney Plus, I'll watch it. And we'll
I think it'll be on Disney Plus in like February or March.
Yeah, probably true.
Yeah. So we'll talk about it then. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So maybe less than a 0 if I'm thinking about that first hour. If I'm not thinking about that first hour, maybe it's like a little over a 0.
Okay.
So close to 0 though. It's pretty mid.
Okay. Interesting. I was expecting higher, honestly, but that's fair.
The first hour holds it back a lot.
Yeah.
Just like a lot.
Hmm.
because it's like, I don't know, for me with a movie too, because I rewatch movies like a lot. I'm usually very okay with doing that. I don't know if I'm ever going to rewatch this, one because it's so long, and then two because it is
Yeah.
kind of just whatever. Even the parts I like, it's like I don't really know if I need to see them again. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty close to a zero for me.
I've seen Avatar one time, and I feel like that was enough.
Yeah.
That was plenty for me.
Yeah.
Um. Okay. All right. Well. Bringing it back around. Anything else you've been playing?
Pokemon.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think pretty much anyone that knows that that game exists knows it runs like shit and looks really bad. And if you didn't know that, newsflash, it runs like shit and it looks really bad.
Yeah, I saw that was pretty much all the whole discourse around that game the first week it came out.
Yeah,
People
and
seem
it's
over that
really a
at this point.
shame. Yeah, I mean, I think most people were over it immediately. It's just like if we're going to talk about the game, we have to talk about that. Like you
Yeah.
can't just ignore that.
Yeah.
But it sucks because if you did ignore that, it's the best Pokemon game ever made. It's crazy how fucking good the game
Hold
is.
on. Ever?
Oh, by far. Not
That
not even
can't
a
be.
not even a competition.
What was your favorite before?
Unless you're into the old formula and you didn't want anything to change, then I think you'd be better off with one of the first three generations, maybe Gen 1 or Gen 3. Um, but like they did everything. Like, okay, so where do I start? Um, so let's like address the issues with Pokemon, which I haven't beaten the game yet, so some of this stuff I don't know, but like the writing is bad, the game is too easy. They're all the same now, so it's just like I don't know what. There's nothing like fresh about it. Basically, what else? I don't know, but the game is not easy. I wouldn't say it's like challenging, but I haven't beaten it yet. And when you do beat it, all of the gym leaders like re-unlock, like you can battle them again. They have parties of 6 and all of their teams become more powerful than the Pokemon League. And then you can
Holy
also do
shit.
the Pokemon League again. Yeah. And then you unlock new areas of the map that are all like higher level stuff and all that. But
Okay, that
I,
does sound pretty cool.
yeah, so they've done so many things that people have been asking for. It really does feel like they're actually genuinely like listening to feedback from the years and like implementing stuff. It's just also very obvious that this game came out the same year as their last game. Like it is so clearly rushed. There is not a single other Nintendo produced thing that runs like this or looks like this. Like it is clearly rushed. And I guarantee you this the fucking reason Breath of the Wild 2 didn't come out this year is so it won't run and look like that.
Does
Like
it
they are taking the time to polish it.
Does it use the same engine as Arceus or no?
I don't know much about the inside
Okay.
uh yeah, I guess with Pokemon stuff. I honestly don't know any of that,
I
but
play it pretty close to
I
the chest. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the same though. It's
What are these games called again?
the new one's called Scarlet and Violet.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, the name is pretty bad. It's unmemorable.
Yeah, I agree. It's not. Yeah, they should have done something else. But so the map itself is really cool. I think the character designs and Pokemon designs are some of the best they've ever been, ever. And I think Pokemon character designs have always been kind of cool, but
Yeah.
Pokemon designs is where they've always kind of been hit or miss. I think almost every Pokemon I've seen, I'm like, that's fucking cool, or it's fucking adorable, which
Yeah.
is really all you need. Like, and I think this is the first game ever where both versions had cool shit in them that are exclusive to those versions. That kind of always seems like it's a miss. Like I've never really understood why they do two, and I still don't. I kind of just feel like it should all be in one game. But this is the first game they've ever made where
you know why.
no, I do know why, but realistically, like I don't know how they get away with it.
Yeah.
like all the Pokemon could just be in one. But this is the first one where it's just like, oh, I really like the differences. Like I actually had to like think about it. Like, okay, I'm not going to get both, but I really like what both have to offer. So which one
Well,
am I
it's funny
going to
because they
pick?
always
Like,
release, or they used to. I guess they haven't been doing this anymore, but they
yeah,
used
they
to have that
stopped.
third game that would have
Right.
everything in it.
Yep. Yeah,
Which,
they don't do that
which
now.
I mean, I always thought was like the better choice. Like, I mean, yellow. Then you had what?
It was
Fucking
definitely like a before DLC era. That's basically those games were the
yeah,
DLC released versions of the games before
crystal.
DLC was the thing.
By the
Like
time
it's
Emerald came out, though, I was kind of sick of it. Like I didn't
yeah,
like
and they didn't stop
Emerald.
doing it for a while. So
Yeah,
I agree. Emerald was like the last time it was good. Um yeah, and I don't know. It's they just have finally done so much of it right. And I mean, the one thing that I don't believe yet is people are saying the writing is actually good. I haven't gotten to a part of the game where that feels true.
are saying that the
It's
what is
definitely
actually good.
the writing.
Oh, whoa,
Yeah,
damn! No
people are
one's ever
saying the
said that.
writing is actually good, and there's like these really emotional moments where
That
they
can't be right.
cry. Yeah, I don't feel that way either yet. But in the one from earlier this year, Legends,
Yeah,
that one had moments where I was like, "Oh shit.
yeah,
This isn't like good, but this is better than we've gotten." Like
yeah,
have you
yeah, yeah.
did you play it?
I did. I got
Do you
maybe 10 hours into it before giving up, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. There's this one part of the writing where like of the story where how do I explain without wasting a bunch of time? You know how the whole thing in that game is like I don't know, there's like a storm that's like
Yep,
making the Pokemon go crazy.
yep,
So basically you're like going on this whole journey looking for this there's like an island or something, I forget now because it's been so long, but there's a part of the map that is like under watch by these Arcanine. They like guard the Pokemon and keep them safe. And it's like, okay, this Arcanine is like the dude that looks after everybody. And I don't know, the Arcanine is like gone or it like passed away prior to the story. I can't remember, but it's no longer there. And so one of its like pups is going to become the new Arcanine and like watch over the lands. And like one of the pups is like the runt, and one of the pups is like clearly the alpha and like is literally way bigger and like is doing all this crazy stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, the runt gets kidnapped by like the bad guys, and they're gonna like try to force it to evolve and like all this weird shit. I don't know, they're just like trying to fuck with it. And then so it's like, okay, we're gonna go save the
man,
runt
Pokemon
with
villains are weird.
yeah, we're gonna go save the runt with the alpha. It makes sense. And then you get there and you save it, and it's like this like cool moment in Pokemon. And then like right as you get there to save the runt, the alpha one gets struck by the go crazy lightning. And so now the alpha one is like evil basically.
Yeah,
And you have to like, you know,
you gotta put them
I don't
down.
I don't know. It's just like, okay, I see what they're doing. They're
Yeah,
finally like telling different stories. They're not just like
sure.
Team Rocket is gonna fucking end the world. Go stop them with the legendary. Like
Yeah,
it's finally pivoting to like they're trying to tell different stories. And I see that, but I wouldn't say it's good yet. And that holds true with like the new one. Like they're definitely trying different things, which is good, but I don't think it's good yet. But the game is a good video game. I genuinely enjoy playing it a lot
yeah.
and have been playing it a lot. Um, I think they only dropped the ball like hardcore with the performance and then the multiplayer. Um, yeah, you can't like do anything in the co-op together. Y'all can just like join the same map and then go do the things on the map while in the
Separately,
same like yeah, while like in the same instance, and that's it. If somebody like enters a
sick,
battle or a cutscene or anything like that, they just disappear. Like you can't
sick.
watch them do the battles. You can't. Yeah, you literally are just allowed to join the world together, and then you can
Nice.
go do anything you want, totally far
Hell yeah,
away
dude.
from each other.
That's what
Yeah.
that's that's what I look for in a relationship too. Is like we're in the same map, but we do our own shit. Like
Yeah.
like we're
When you put it
just.
like that, it does,
I
no.
mean, that's how I want my partner. She's just around, but not. She doesn't have to do everything with me. See, I knew if anyone would get it, it would be Pokemon.
Yeah.
um.
I
Okay.
think they're on the right path, though. The games seem to be getting actually better instead
Pokemon
of
is like
staying
dating,
the same.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
said it
dating.
first.
You always got to have a bench of 5.
Yeah, I concur.
But you've got one that you focus on. It gets
Uh-huh.
all the
Yeah.
experience. It
Yeah.
gets all the experience. Holds like the good items,
You're teaching all the moves.
teaching all the moves. What in the newer ones
Taking them to the gym.
you can let them out and like they follow you around, right? That's the main one. Everybody else has to stay in the balls. This metaphor is falling apart.
Yeah.
Okay, so you like Violet and Scarlet.
Yeah, I do. I think
Which one
they're
did
on the
you get?
right path. I got Violet.
Okay, that's maybe a worse choice. I don't know.
Nah.
I mean,
okay, so you know how they do this thing now, it's in the more recent games where like the region that they're in for this game will have new versions of old Pokemon.
yeah, like the
Just like completely
Alolan fucking
right.
gold
So like
or
new
whatever the
types
fuck.
and like
Yeah,
a new look. So
yeah.
they did that in this game, except with Violet, it's new versions of Pokemon from the far, far future. So they're like all futuristic and like made of metal.
Sounds
And then in
stupid.
Scarlet, it's Pokemon from the distant past. So they're like cavemen and like wearing loincloths and
Okay,
have
that's
like
also dumb.
really big teeth. It's way cooler than I'm making it sound. I'm not gonna lie. It's
No,
like
I mean, I don't
it's
think you
really
could.
fucking
I
cool.
believe you, but I don't think you could make it sound cool. To be honest,
No,
It
no,
sounds
probably
stupid.
not. But it is
Okay,
really fucking cool.
interesting.
So yeah, I don't know. They're just they're doing
They
cool
should have.
things.
I was
But,
thinking like what you were gonna say was like, okay, hold on. Actually, let me ask a question. Is there a
uh-huh.
Pokemon timeline?
Uh, I think so. I'm not super familiar with it though.
Okay, because like,
Because in the manga, it is a one whole continuity. I'm
oh,
pretty
okay,
sure.
okay.
And all the main characters are named colors. I don't know what they did in Sword and Shield. Actually, I have no idea what the main characters would be called. But like the original region, the character's called Red. Gary
Yeah,
is called Blue. There's a
yeah.
girl named Green, and then a character named Yellow shows up later. Um, and etc. It goes on like that for all the stuff. But yeah, there is a continuity in the manga, but the manga's way different than anything else Pokemon
So
related.
where i- is Arceus in the manga or no?
I think it has. Wait, you mean the game?
Yeah, like does that time appear, like that story appear on the timeline anywhere?
I think Legends is technically considered a spin-off, so I don't think it has a
Okay,
manga.
okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
In my mind, this is just I don't know. Just bear with me. Black and White is in the future. I don't know why. It's
In
like
your
the
mind?
future. Yeah, in my mind, Black and White is the future most game. Something about it just seems future.
I think that's definitely true at the time it came out. I don't think that's true now, just because they do a thing in the more recent ones where characters do come back and you can like battle them and they're like aged up.
Oh, okay.
Uh, yeah, they definitely did that in Sun and Moon, which is in my mind still kind of recent for Pokemon.
That was a while
But
ago, huh?
yeah, it was. But
That was a 3DS game, wasn't it?
yeah, it was.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That feels like not that long ago.
Yeah, I agree. Well, they make
Dude,
one every year.
remember
It honestly
remember
probably
when
wasn't that long ago.
remember when we went to the X and Y launch together?
I don't remember doing that together. I definitely remember doing that.
Yeah, we went. I was there.
Really?
Yeah, I was there. Tran,
I
was
lived with
it
Paul
me?
and Tran when that
Yeah,
happened.
me, you, Tran, Paul.
I
Actually, did
remember
Paul
Tran and
go?
Paul.
I actually
I
don't think
feel like,
Paul went. I think it was just me, you, and Tran.
huh?
Because I'm blanking now, but I feel like that was something that Paul would have been like, I have to sleep, because he liked that. He liked sleeping.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah, he
know.
did. I
I don't
always
know.
felt bad because I liked to be awake with the lights on and be loud, and he really liked to sleep in
Yeah,
the dark with it quiet.
yeah,
So
yeah.
us living together definitely was probably not the best move for that.
He's an extremely light sleeper even to this day. So I feel like I have I'm thinking really hard right now. I think I have purchased every Pokemon game, but haven't finished one since I'm gonna say Black.
I just know that every time one is about to come out, we talk about how you buy them and then don't play them. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, you should probably stop buying them.
Yeah, I haven't bought this one yet.
Okay, nice.
I
I'm
said
proud of
yet.
you.
I mean, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah.
But I stopped myself. Arceus I thought had a really cool concept. And
I
then
think that one's really good,
the
honestly.
loop was really boring, I thought.
Okay, that's interesting. It's definitely not for everybody. It's all about exploration and just
Yeah.
obviously catching Pokemon.
I just
And I really enjoyed like
yeah.
getting lost in like a Pokemon universe, like and just kind of walking around exploring shit. But
They really needed to do a little bit more with the world because the exploration the exploration was for the Pokemon, it wasn't for the world, and I wanted to see what the world was like. And
yeah, I kind of agree. I wish they would have done that too.
there wasn't enough interesting stuff out there.
Yeah,
It was basically like
I
Final
agree.
Fantasy 15, but the scenery was less nice.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a car that you could drive. That's what they need to have, like a convertible
You get more vehicles as you progress.
in 15 or in Arceus.
In both, actually.
I knew that about 15, but in Arceus, do you fly at some point in Arceus?
Oh, you get it all, baby. You
Really?
get everything.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
At some point, you can just climb up walls, basically.
That's pretty cool. Okay,
Yeah, it's really useful.
I kind of fuck with that. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I will. I won't, but maybe I will play that game.
You're fine.
Well, I feel like we don't need to talk about these a lot, but I just want to run through them because I think it's funny. So I did play through Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Oh boy. I recently found out that's not like a remake.
No, it's not. I mean,
I didn't know that.
I don't know. It kind of is. I mean, Modern Warfare 1.
I thought it just straight up was. But it's
telling,
like they don't. Go ahead.
It's like they've basically taken those stories and made them a little more modern. So they changed some stuff, but it's the same characters. So go on. You look like you're going to say something.
Well, I guess now I'm confused.
Yep.
The story's not the same though, right?
No.
Okay,
but
that's what I need to hear.
Same characters.
Right. Characters, yes. Story, no.
No.
Okay.
Not even really close. I mean, there's like
that's what I had heard is they're not similar.
So like Shepard, right? Shepard's in this one.
Okay.
Do you remember who Shepard is?
No.
General Shepard. He's the guy who
I remember Price because fuck him. I'll kill him again.
Kill him?
He was the bad guy, right? Price.
No, Captain Price is your buddy. All gillied up. He's the guy who's with you. Actually, sorry. All gillied up, you play as Price, and the guy you're with is his mentor, right? Anyway.
Who betrays you in
Shepard. General Shepard.
Shepard? I thought his name was Price. I got them mixed up somehow.
Price is the British guy.
Okay,
The
so yeah, I definitely
mustache.
remember Shepard then.
Shepard is the guy who flicks the cigar on you and catches you on fire.
That sounds,
Uh, well,
yeah,
yeah, because yes, he's the American general who betrays everyone in Modern Warfare 2.
yes,
Spoiler,
yes,
he does it again in this one, but it's like extremely realistic. Like they're going for like a realism thing in both the new Modern Warfare games. So like the way he does it is like bureaucracy. Like like he basically pretends that you don't exist in like the system. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he like literally shows up and like executes, Ghost with a revolver or
right.
something. He like
So it's way less badass.
pretty much. Yeah. I mean,
That's fucking stupid.
some cool shit happens, don't get me wrong. Like there's
Yeah,
some really cool moments, but it's definitely less action movie and more like, okay, this could actually happen kind of shit.
yeah. Is No Russian still in it?
No. But oh man. Yeah, maybe you should
I'm not gonna play it.
you should play it.
I'm not going to.
At the very end, they tease No Russian. Yeah. At the very end, you get a text, and it's from the guy who says, "What's his name? Is it? It's not
Troy
Sokolov.
Baker.
No, the guy, the Russian, the character's name, the Russian guy who says, "Remember, no Russian." Like in the elevator, he's like the villain of that game.
Troy Baker. Yeah.
Is it Troy Baker?
I'm almost positive Troy Baker is the one that says No Russian. It could be the guy you're
What?
playing.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm almost positive.
Huh.
Or he's the guy you're playing that is
I think he was the
no
guy
Russian.
you're playing.
Yeah, I can't confirm or deny, honestly.
Anyway, I don't remember. Makarov is the name of the character, Vladimir Makarov, and he's the one who like is in the elevator who says, "Remember, no Russian," and then you guys do the thing. You get like a text. Like there's like a post credits scene where a character gets a text and it says that it's like, "Remember, no Russian" or something like that. So they're teasing some shit, but it's basically like a remixed version of everything that kind of went down in those games. No nuke goes off from what I remember.
I see. Is there a scene in outer space where you see a nuke go off?
Man, that was really cool. Yeah,
or
man,
was it an EMP?
Those games were a lot better. It was an EMP. Yeah.
Games... Modern Warfare 2 is like in a league of its own in terms of first-person shooter. Like
Modern
Warfare
1 and 2. I played Modern Warfare 1 not that long ago, but I haven't played Modern Warfare 2 in a while. I still think the new ones are really good. I really do. Okay, according to this, I played Modern Warfare 2 in 2016. But
that's recent.
Yeah, it really is. Apparently, I played through Modern Warfare 1 in 2016 also. I must have also played through Modern Warfare 2, but for some reason I don't really remember it. Anyway. Yeah. So it's a good game. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed it. We talked about it a lot longer than I thought we were going to be honest, because you kept asking questions, and it made me kind of think about it.
Because I'm not going to play it.
You know what? Yeah. I think Modern Warfare 2 is pretty good. I enjoyed it. There's some really annoying shit. They insist on putting boss battles in these games, and I do not understand why.
I think I'm just tired of boss battles in general, unless it's a Dark Souls game. I'm just like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, boss battles in games that don't make sense for them are truly atrocious.
Yes.
I also played through Aperture Desk Job.
I've heard that's like Portal 2.5 without the portals.
Is legitimately, I played it on the airplane. It is the hardest I've laughed at a video game in a really long time.
Yeah, I've heard it's very funny. I've been meaning to play it, honestly. I just keep forgetting. But it's made for Steam Deck, right?
It was. I mean, you could play it on a regular controller, but it was made for Steam Deck. I laughed so fucking hard. Cave Johnson comes back, and
that's hilarious.
The main guy who's with you is a comedian I like named Nate Bargatze. He's really funny, and they nailed his style of humor perfectly. He's like the robot. He's like the Wheatley of this game.
Yeah.
And he just narrates and like bumbles on, and all of his dialogue is extremely fucking amazing and hilarious. Um, it's cool. It's like 2 hours long, if even that, like maybe an
Yeah.
hour. And I think it's extremely worth it. I absolutely recommend
Yeah.
playing it.
I've heard the like RTX Portal re-release is like really
You know
good
what?
too. I haven't.
Thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna download that while we're talking about it.
Is it a free update or do you have to buy it?
I have no idea. Portal with RTX is now available, and it's free to anyone who owns Portal. You'll just need to go here to add it to your library.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
I wasn't sure though.
I'm gonna do that right now. Yes, I'm gonna try that out now that because
Are you busy after this, or like I'm sure immediately after you might need to do something, but like tonight?
no, I'm not doing anything. Why?
Dark Tide.
Hell yeah, we've been playing Dark Tide. We played a little bit of it the other day. A few hours went by pretty quick.
Yeah, I was excited to do more.
Yeah.
You know,
We should definitely play more tonight. I would like to get more people involved if we can, because I think that is the key to success.
I wish Tran wasn't so stubborn.
Yeah, he sucks. No. Love Tran, but he is
Tran's
a very stubborn is like the main quality that I would associate with Tran. So yeah, we should definitely play that. I think that game's really good, and I think we'll talk about it a lot more as we get more into it. But the minute to minute gameplay is just really satisfying in a way that makes it easy to see enjoying for a while. Especially
and I don't know if you know this,
Mhm.
but Warhammer 40K recently crossed over with Magic the Gathering.
What? How is that even
And
possible?
so they made like hundreds of new cards that are just Warhammer lore, but in Magic the Gathering's like rule set. So it's like Warhammer characters and names and like
Does
I don't
Magic
know.
have lore?
Oh yeah, it's like one of the main reasons I like love it so much is because the lore is really good in my opinion.
Does it not ruin the lore by throwing in all this random Warhammer shit?
A lot of people kind of feel that way.
Okay.
I say a lot, but I think it's more like a loud minority kind of thing
Sure.
because the stuff is selling very, very well. So obviously people like it, myself included. But yeah, anyway, that happened, and I wanted the cards because they're really, really good. And I was, looking at the shit, and I'm like, these motherfuckers look cool as hell. So I've spent many hours now just watching YouTube videos telling me Warhammer 40K lore, and holy fuck, is that universe cool as
Dude,
shit.
it's so sick. Yeah. It's
So
I've read a lot of the books as a kid.
nice. Okay, cool.
Like through middle school
Horus
and high
Heresy?
school. I did read Horus Heresy. That's a
Nice.
classic. I was also
nice.
I'm a big Cyphus Cain fan.
Nice. Yeah.
So I read a bunch of the what was it, am I blanking, Space Wolves? Snow Wolves? Space Wolves?
I'm not familiar with
Chapter
what.
of Space Marines. Anyway, I
Yeah,
read
I'm
one
not
of their
familiar.
books, the Space Wolves Omnibus, I think it's what it's called. Yeah, some stuff here and there. So I through middle and high school, I was a pretty big Warhammer lore person, and I even got into the miniatures for a second and then immediately out because I didn't have $1 million.
Yeah.
But Tyler has a fully painted army from what I remember. So
That's fucking insane.
But I bet as an adult now, I would probably enjoy the painting. But as a kid, I thought it was the worst part.
Yeah.
Well, that and the fact that it's expensive, and I was a kid, so I didn't have any money.
Yeah. Yeah. From what I understand, most people just get them to paint. Like most people will spend majority of their time collecting and painting than they will actually playing, which is
it's true.
Not how I like to engage with my products at all. I like to
usually.
play.
Yeah, not usually at all. I'm not much of an artist, so but I bet I could pull like a sick trick and make my partner paint my miniatures for me. She would probably like it. So
Ayo.
I think that's it trying to
Yeah,
think if I
cool.
played anything else. I there's some stuff that's on my list that I think I'm going to play next. Dying Light 2. Um, did you play it? You're giving
Bad
me. You
game.
can't see him. He's giving me the thumbs down. Did you like Dying Light 1?
Yeah, I like Dying Light 1 a lot.
I
No,
just played through it again. Dying Light 1.
well, so my whole thing with Dying Light 2 is it just came out at the worst possible time, which is right before Elden Ring. That's really it. And then this year was just not a year for me to like go super crazy with buying games I wasn't going to play right away.
Yeah.
So I just haven't gotten around to Dying Light 2 yet. I'm really interested in it though, honestly. And you
Yeah.
can like full co-op that game, right? You can play
Um,
with friends, or is it kind of janky?
I'm pretty
with
sure you
friends?
can. Yeah, just like Dying Light 1. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
play through the whole game together. So we could do that.
yeah, yeah.
I have
No,
it
Dying
already.
Light 2 is actually on my list for sure. I just you know, a lot of stuff to play
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of Elden Ring
No, for
was
sure.
my playtime this year.
Yep. Yep. I hear you on that. Dying Light 2, I have Scarlet Nexus on this
Hmm.
list. Was kind of interested in that. Um
You know,
go on.
I've been playing Returnal just to obligatorily mention it. Yeah, me and Jerry and Merced have been doing the co-op.
Really?
Yeah, and it's so fucking hard. I just want to make it very clear. The game is not harder with extra people. It does not increase the damage or the health at all. The
Yeah.
game is just fucking hard. And me and Merced have finally beaten the second boss. Me and Jerry haven't.
I
You can only
feel
do two
like
people
the
at a
game
time.
must be harder, not that they made it harder, but for some reason anytime you add a second person, the easiness at which you fuck up is increased. I feel like. Like
That's
it's almost
possible.
like there's a distraction with
Yeah,
another
that's
person.
possible. It 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 just blows my mind. I don't know how I beat this game by myself. Like just in terms of the amount of time you have to spend like
Yeah.
memorizing stuff and doing damage. It's just like I don't know how I did it, but I remember I was like so determined to do it at the time that I literally wouldn't play other stuff because I didn't want to get rusty at Returnal. And I can totally see why, because we can't fucking beat the game no matter how hard we try. It's just too fucking hard.
Merced's holding you back.
Honestly, he was at first. It was like it was literally him being dead for the boss and then me finishing it off.
Nice.
But now he's actually gotten really good.
Pulling his weight.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's a game that I always think I'm going to go back to, and I may
No, you're
still.
not.
I may still.
No, you're
But
not.
probably
It's too
not.
late.
Yeah, probably
This
not.
the ship has sailed.
Yeah, it's. I didn't think it was that fun. So,
Each their own, brother.
anything we talked about this briefly, like offline, but anything that you wanted to mention about the Game Awards before we go?
Not really.
What's your favorite thing? Favorite thing from the Game Awards? What's your favorite thing?
Damn, that's tough.
Let's do favorite and
Probably
least.
Hades.
Okay.
Probably Hades too.
Okay. Okay.
Least.
Yeah.
When Keegan Michael Key came out on stage, that was really bad.
Yeah,
I felt so bad for him.
I did. I felt bad for him too. You know, somebody else wrote that joke for him. And
Oh, 100%. That was so rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
His delivery was very him. He delivered it
Yeah.
as well as he could. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a lot of cool stuff. I don't know. I feel like, just to, I guess, sum up my feelings really quickly, that was one of the better Game Awards we've gotten in terms of the cool stuff we're getting to see during it. Like, obviously, the awards themselves, that all kind of played out like normal. But yeah, I was really impressed with like the amount of things we saw that I wasn't expecting to see, and then the stuff I was expecting, like Final Fantasy. I was like, oh yeah, that fucking looks good. Like, I hope it's good. It looks good. So, yeah, I thought this was one of the more better ones.
I agree. Yeah, it was not bad. I really there were a lot of things that I was on my phone for that I just
Mm,
wasn't interested in, but the things that I was interested in were I was very interested in.
yeah,
My
same.
favorite thing, actually, I was gonna say Armored Core, but now that you mention it, I really liked that Final Fantasy trailer.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm exceedingly getting more and more excited for it,
yeah,
and I've kind of
it.
I like JRPGs and Square Enix shit a lot, and even I'm just kind of like I don't really know if I'm going to get excited for this usually with their shit because they're so hit or miss. They either knock it out of the park or it's a fucking dog shit game. So I'm just like, whatever, I'll wait.
I mean,
But I'm getting pretty excited.
I wouldn't even go that far. I think that they just it's
I
either
would.
something I really enjoy or something I'm not interested in with them.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's
Like
fair.
Octopath was Square Enix, right?
Yes.
I didn't even play it. It looks really nice, but I just knew that it was a game that I was never going to finish. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Triangle Strategy, same thing.
Yeah.
Um, so there's Final Fantasy 15. I played maybe a fourth through and then abandoned it. And it's a game that I always think about going back to because it had really cozy vibes, and I
Yeah.
kind of like that. But I don't know. So I, I'm mostly interested because I liked Final Fantasy 14's story when it was new. I haven't paid attention in a really long time, so I have no idea what's going on. But I trust that team's ability to deliver a good story and a good game. And that trailer was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see like a Final Fantasy game that like looks kind of disturbing, like a little bit
Yeah,
like
I'm glad
unsettling.
they're going the dark fantasy direction. I don't remember if it was me and you that talked about this, but the dude Yoshi P or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah,
they said they very much wanted to push towards mature and
yeah,
like almost got the green light to go for the mature rating too,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
that they're getting to get away with a lot more in terms of darker subject matter for the storytelling and the specific things that they'll get to do on screen. And
yeah.
all of that I fuck with hella. So yeah, I'm ready
Yeah,
for it.
it seems really good. Like, I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
I trust Yoshida's writing
Yeah.
ability. Um, yeah, I'm super interested in it. So I think that would be my favorite thing. I think my least favorite thing was, I mean, there was kind of a lot of it, but I don't know. Um, I really, really, really always leave that show feeling like the awards are not the point.
They're not.
And
It should be
maybe
called the game trailers.
it
It should not be
should.
called the game awards. Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of sad. I understand that that's probably just the reality of the world. Maybe I mean you could maybe even say the same thing for the Oscars. Um,
I don't know. The Oscars aren't
I mean they don't
like that
have.
though, are they?
I mean
It's not
they
like loaded with new trailers in between
no.
every.
It's
Okay.
not, but they do have like bombast and like star power, and that's kind of what you're there for more than the awards if you're like a regular person. Um, but I don't know how this is the thing is I don't know how to do it better. But I think my least favorite thing is that the awards never feel like the reason I'm there, and they shove them off to the side in a way that makes them kind of unsatisfying. Uh, or like
I
the
think the
ones
yeah. To that point, I do think the only one that matters is game of the year.
it really is. Yeah.
Like in that way. Like I
Yep.
was very excited to see who was going to walk away with that
Yep.
award. And so it's like there's no version of the show to your point that could exist that's only that award and then a
Yeah.
bunch of trailers leading up to it. It's like they
Yeah.
need that buffer
Yeah.
of all the other awards. And I mean, it is, like cool to see the game you think had the best soundtrack get best soundtrack. So it's like the
Yeah.
other awards do serve a point, but
Although
I definitely
what
agree.
won best soundtrack was it God of War?
I think so.
It's a good soundtrack, but I was kind of a little
Wait,
bit
it might have been Elden Ring.
no, I don't think it was because I wanted Elden Ring to win, but it
Yeah,
didn't.
I just remember there was one award because me and Marcel were watching it together,
Okay.
and he likes to fake hate Elden Ring now, even
Of
after
course.
when this happened, he had already like been playing it a lot. But so he was rooting for God of War for every single award, and I was rooting for Elden Ring.
Yeah, God of War
And
won.
there was one that Elden Ring got where I literally sent him a thing, and I was just like, I'm genuinely surprised that happened. And then there was one that Elden Ring won where he was getting really upset about it, and I was like, "You're a fucking idiot." Like Elden Ring definitely deserved that, but I can't remember which was which now.
Yeah. God of War got a
But
lot of
whatever,
awards early on, and
it
it
did.
made me nervous that it was gonna like just start sweeping the entire thing.
Yeah, that's what Last
Um,
of Us did that year. Is just won everything, and it's just like, all
yeah.
right, we get it.
Um, yeah, I really enjoyed the I always enjoy the game of the year category. Like the way they
Yeah,
do the orchestra stuff, the build up is really
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's a good feeling as a person who likes video games. It's a good feeling.
yeah.
But yeah, what was best art direction God of War got? And I was glad it got that.
Yeah, yeah, same for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting event. I hope they continue to come up with things that make it better while trimming out the things that don't work. I think they
Yeah.
really just need less speaking in general. Like
Oh,
less
that would go a long way.
like
If
less
yeah,
people talking will make
yes.
that show better.
And
Um
it's like, or at least talking about nothing. When Al Pacino came out, I was like, is he about to like reveal that he's in a game, like
yeah.
playing some cool role or something? And then it was just him presenting the award. And it's like, okay, I literally could not give a fuck. Like, that was the biggest waste of my time. He can't even see the cue cards. Like, this is fucking dog shit. And then it was the same thing with, I forget who now, but someone else came out. And I was like, are they about to be in a fucking video game? And then it was just
Yeah.
them presenting the award for talking for 5 minutes about nothing. I was just like, fuck you. I don't need this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty strange. I don't know. Well, I'm curious to see how it's going to be better next year.
Yeah,
I
me
hope
too.
it's better next year.
Yeah, me too.
Um, I do think they could trim it down a little bit too. They could make it a little shorter, but
Yeah.
oh well. So that's that.
Yeah.
Thanks for chatting.
Of course.
We're gonna play some Dark Tide now. I might have to pee.
Yeah.
Eat a
I
little
actually really have to
snacky.
pee.
Eat a little snacky
Yeah.
snack. But
Yeah.
we'll be back. I think we'll talk about Game of the Year maybe later in January when we've had enough time to finish some things.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And maybe we'll convene once more in between now and then. I have a little bit more time. We'll convene once we finish God of War and do like a big discussion on it because
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where that goes and hear your thoughts. So
Yeah.
we should do that. All right, Crossley, thanks for being here.
Of course.
Thanks everybody for listening. We'll talk again soon and peace. See ya. Goodbye.
Goodbye.